yet another educative and interesting session on the Scholars Forum tonight. And you know, the third trimester field practical program has been a very unique feature under the UDS system, and now the practical training program under the UB system. This is where they send out students into rural and peri-urban communities in Ghana for research purposes, and of course, to enable them to develop favorable attitudes towards working in these areas. Tonight, I'll be having a conversation with people who are experienced in this area, who has gone into the field before and know what goes in and out of these communities. They are very experienced and renowned personalities, and you will enjoy listening to them, and you are going to learn a great deal from them. Stay connected. This is the Scholars Forum, where we inform to reform. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. As I rightly said, today we have very renowned personalities in the studio, and we'll be interacting with them regarding our third trimester practical field program, and also that was under the UDS system, and now practical training program under the UBIS system. Yes, so these are people who have been into the field. They've actually, experienced it, and they have the practical knowledge of how it is done, and they know what goes in and out of these communities. So today I'll be interacting with them to get you more informed on some of these issues. Yes, so today we have our very own famous Uncle Humble Can Drive, a very, vibrant and dynamic young man who is very passionate about youth development and development in general. Uncle Humble, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, and of course we have our very beautiful, smart, intelligent, and of course daring young lady who is currently the NUC/SLC WUCOM of SDD UBIS. She's here with us, and we'll be interacting with her as well. So, Miss Sophia, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, and of course, our very own industrialist, Mr. Peter. He is the former Debate Society president, and of course, the former majority leader in Youth Parliament, SDD UB. So, Mr. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So, today we are looking at our field practical program, right, which was initially TTFPP under the UDS system, and now PTP under UB system, right? Yes, so Ms. Sophia, I'm going to start with you, right? Okay. Ladies first. I'm a very strong advocate for ladies first,
wow,
right?
That's nice.
Yes, so I'll start with you. Yes, so basically, we want to see our general understanding of the practical training program under the UB system. Our general understanding. So how do you understand it?
Well, this is field program that is undertaken by the SDD UBIT institution, and it's a situation where the students of this school go to communities. They are taken to communities where they coexist with these people, and they try to find problems of these particular societies in order to be able to inform policy decisions, and also help these students be able to develop positive attitudes towards living and working in these deprived areas.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, so let me move to Uncle Humble. Mm-hmm. Yes, so your general understanding, your own perspective of this PTP thing.
Yeah, I think I'm under the UDS, so they are the
okay, so she's UBS and you are UDS.
I'm UDS.
So let's get the UDS perspective.
Yes. UDS perspective. You see, gone with the days when people will sit at their office and they will come out with development initiative, and after the implementation, it becomes a white elephant. So with the status of the PNDC law that gave the status for the running of UDS school, that's PNDC law 297, says that we should send the people to the community, let them live with them, let them understand the dynamics, let them understand how they live, so that when you are developing, you develop with them, but we don't develop for. That was the case. So I think the main reason why they send these students to the community is to blend the theoretical aspects or the theory that they taught them in the classroom, and then they go to the practical, and then or they go to the field to also do that of the practices, so that they will blend them and they know how to come out with development initiative in order to make sure that no project becomes a white elephant. And when you talk about white elephant, it's when you come out with a project and then it does not serve its purpose. So that is main reason why they.
All right, fantastic. Let me move to Mr. Peter. You're also under UDS, right?
Yes, UDS.
You are UDS.
Yes.
Okay, so let's hear it from your point.
Okay, so you realize that what happens is that as a university running, whether a public university or a private university, it's kind of like it's a mandate of that university to have an impact on the societies around it. Okay, whether it's far from it or within its jurisdiction. But what happens is that it needs to have a certain amount of impact on the lives of the people. So in a bid to, attain this particular goal, UDS actually introduced this where you actually send the students into the field. Like she said, you get to know the people, you know their problems, and then you kind of conduct a research within the period of your stay there. So aside giving you that chance to know them, it also gives you the chance to know their problems and to know what it means to work in a rural area. So that at the end of the day, when you're having kind of like you said, when you're coming out with projects and those things, you actually know what are the felt needs of these people. What would they actually be needing in their community to be able to advance or to be able to develop somewhere in the near future.
So I think basically from our points means that the purpose of the PTP is to expose business and development challenges and potentials of rural and peri-urban communities in Ghana to students, and to also help them, develop favorable attitudes towards working in these areas. All right, fantastic. I think you guys have been into the field before. You've gone into these communities. Mr. Homo, which community were you?
I went to Amoma in the Kintampo South.
Amoma, yeah. Wow. This is the first time I'm hearing that.
I see that.
Yes.
That was where you went. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so you also
You went there. Wow.
Amoma.
Wow.
different years.
No. I went to Anochi Krum.
Anochi Krum.
Yeah, it's also in the Kintampo South.
Oh, okay, Kintampo South.
We are in Kintampo North. Amoma is
Kintampo South.
Kintampo South.
But how come? Is it different years or the same year?
Different years.
Different years. Okay, that's fine. All right, so Mr. Peter, let me start with you. So you see, before you visit this community, when we came as a student, you have expectations, right? When you hear that you are going into the field, you have certain expectations. You imagine certain things. How is it going to look like? So how are your imaginations? And of course, some of the realities that faced you, right? You imagine things, but when you get into the field, this is the real issue. Yes. So share some with us.
So actually, like Homo said, or like you said, the first time I heard Amoma was the day they released the list. Like they actually released the list of the communities we were going to. Then I saw the name Amoma. When I took the Ghana map, it wasn't on it. When I checked on Google, there wasn't.
It wasn't on the Ghana map.
It wasn't on Ghana's map. When I took this thing, what's the name? When I took the Google map, I also searched. There was it doesn't give me any idea as to where Amoma was. So on the day we were actually going, we first camped at Kintampo, and then from Kintampo we were sent to our various communities. So on the day we were going, I realized that on the third road, or along the third road, they were dropping people in some villages, until they actually just took one particular junction. The road was very bad, deteriorated, and that's where we're going to pass. So when they took that road, and all the other people had actually another along the ways, and then from that road we go to the community. What we actually saw was farms, mango plantations and cashew plantations, and then farming and all those things. And it was also a bit of Apoteshi. See this Apoteshi, this in breeding points. So what actually came to my mind was like, what am I going to do here? Because already I didn't have the interest in going for the communities. And then I didn't know the place I was going to. And then on my way there was nothing positive about the place I'm going so far on the road. So it was like, I just was jubilating actually, but I was just on my seat. Well, there was that kind of fear in me, how am I going to survive in this community? But it also happens that once you get into the community, and then you make yourself, you bring yourself there, able to interact with the people, it makes your life a lot easier. Yes, because the day we got there, the person who was receiving us had traveled and were there. And then what happened, when we just got there, the bus alighted us and then took off. It started raining. Because it started raining. So when it started raining, we went to a certain shed. And then one of them spoke Wale. And then some women they also understood Wale. And they spoke Wale back. So it was like we went to them.
I see.
I get it.
That's fine.
We didn't have accommodation. They got accommodation for that night. The next day we were on the road again. We had somebody speaking Dagbani.
So let me come in here. So it means that the accommodation, you are allowed to work on it on your own.
They are allowed to work on it.
The school doesn't give you accommodation.
The school doesn't give you accommodation. I get it. Because that one is actually between the assemblyman and the chiefs. If they start to
so is it part of the PTP?
It's part that you actually look for your own accommodation. The school doesn't pay for your water, electricity, and all those things. I get So when we met the government, he was a contractor working on the road. So he gave us 5 rooms. Then he paid for water bill for our stay there, electricity, and even gave us 800 cedis.
Wow.
Yes, to share.
That's okay. That's
so
okay.
the most basic thing is that just be able to speak your own language. They don't know who you are actually meeting.
Exactly.
You may meet someone from your.
So fast forward. What give me one challenge that you identified in that community? One challenge, one major challenge.
The main challenge there. So you realize that, like Humble said, it's like you actually see a problem. They also have their own problem.
Okay.
We realized that the main problem there was teenage pregnancy, resulting in much school dropout, and then people abusing drugs. But when we had a community forum with the elders, and we told them that these were the most pressing problems per our understanding as students, which we think they should actually help us get more information and write our proposals on them. And they told us they were not concerned about teenage pregnancy or the boys smoking weed, because they actually told them they didn't take it. They are more particular about their road being tarred.
Okay. So they
prioritize smoking on their road over actually helping the teenagers stay back in school or stop the smoking and all those things. So in our view, it was teenage pregnancy, but in their view, it was what? Their poor road network.
All right. So let me move to Miss Sophia, and then I'll come back, and then we ask more. Now, Miss Sophia, what were some of your imaginations, expectations, and what were some of the relatives that faced you in your community?
The name of my community was Anochi Kurum.
Yes.
So when I heard Anochi Kurum, I said, "Oh, I come for Anochi. This must be a very great community." So I actually asked somebody if he had heard about a community like that, a friend of mine. Then he was like, "Yes, he knows that community. It's a community full of monkeys." And I was like, really? I just became paranoid. I was so scared. I was like, I don't like monkeys. So why should I go to a community full of monkeys?
But when you heard the name Anochi, now associating the name with the personality, didn't you have any fear in you that where I'm going to, there were a lot of magical works and all that over there?
Yes, that was also one aspect of it. But I was like, well, if Konfonoji was a great man and with magical powers, then I'm sure they will be able to protect us in that community.
That's okay.
And so my friends scared me that there were a lot of monkeys there. But there was no choice. That is your community and you must go there. So reality faced me when I got there. There was no single monkey there.
Really?
So the guy had lied to me.
Wow.
Yes, he had lied to me. And it was just a name, Anochi Krum. There was no magical powers in that land and all that.
And has the name got any, attachment with the personality?
According to their history, that the first person to settle in that community was called Anochi. So they just named the community after
But not the famous Anochi?
No, it wasn't the famous Anochi. Yeah. So some of my imaginations about this particular community was that I was picturing a community where I would come in, like I pictured a community, in rural communities here we have chiefs. When I go to the community, I'm expecting to see a chief's palace, not a modern one, but something different from what the regular people were staying in. But when I got there, I saw just one summer hut. When we were having our community entry, I said, "This is the chief's palace."
A summer hut?
Yes, just like those buildings with that hut. Just one building. I said that was the king's palace, chief's palace. I was like, really? Then every morning the chief goes to the farm. The chief brings us food stuff. I was like, wow, really?
Yeah, enjoying your community.
yeah, we actually really enjoyed. So, and I also so expected that this community should have at least some basic markets where they traded. That there was nothing like that.
So what was a major challenge you identified?
Okay, no health facility. So we also presented our findings to them. These were some of the problems we had identified.
So did you face the same problems?
Yeah, they also chose poor road network.
Wow.
To all the problems we had laid to them.
All right.
They didn't care about their health. They didn't care about education.
Market.
Nothing.
They
like
just
that.
wanted their
They
road
wanted
network.
their road.
Oh, okay. But let me hear from Uncle.
But before I come inside, you see, when you do community development, that's where you begin to appreciate the choices of the community people.
Yes.
Not from your perspective, but from the angle. Because if I live in a community, rural community where I farm on a subsistence basis, or even if on a commercial basis, remember that I'm producing whatever that I'm doing to sell, but not to keep. So if I don't have good road network that will connect my community to the market, How do I go and sell the business, the product, and get money to cater for my people? You get it? So that's the reason why they normally tell us that when you go, you have to appreciate them. We have some basic principles of community development. We have one that's the principle of acceptance, meaningful relationship. I have to understand you, you also have to understand me, so that you will know the reason why I've come to work with you, and then you also know the reason why the person is telling you or giving you those information. Not just like they have seen people having good roads, so they have to also get a good road. No, but they think that if I don't get a very good road, how do I transport my goods to the market when my wife is going to deliver? How do I get car? How do I get means to send the wife to the hospital? You get it? So that's I think the difference is that probably, or what the students do not consider, but they think that this is what they want, but we think this is what is good for them. You get it? So that's it.
Okay. So that's fine. Okay, so your personal, experience.
Sure. So before I went to the community, I've already talked to some people. How is the community like? When you go, like, what's the experience like? And people like, Charlie, when you go to the community and then like your ID, if you get people like, are you going to enjoy the community? People are going to give you foodstuffs, and then if you are smart, you are going to get a girlfriend and other stuff. I was like, wow. So, so
the last time I heard someone implemented the team job.
That's not happening. That's not because the community that I was Amoma, the next community is called Ajena. And then if you check those who went there before us, they went and impregnated about 9 people.
Really?
Sure.
One community?
One community, 9.
Really?
So when we went, I think the assembly member showed us one of the degree children there.
Yes, they are degree children.
Yeah, sure, of course. We go to school to bring a certificate and then go and get a child. Of course, yes, that person must be called a degree. Yeah, so you see. Exactly. Yeah, so when I heard all this, I was like, wow, I can't wait to get to the community. And when I first heard that we are going to Bono and Anahafu region, I know that definitely I'm going to a Tree-speaking community, so I'll be able to communicate very well with them. And of course, when we were going, I can't develop a fort, so we have to get a trotro to the community. So we were in 2 groups, Amoma A and B. So when I went, of course, I was the chairman, and then I was the one to for them. That's okay. So that's okay. When we made the chief, I tried to come and see Proverbs, and I was like, Hokua one far, I want to and we're paying them literally, if you don't use the appropriate way to get to the people, they will not welcome you. So we had a very nice place to sleep, but like the opportunity that you guys had, we did not. Though we had the Methodist people, the Methodist church there, they were providing a food stuff, but we did not get anybody to give us that 800 cities that you were talking about. So when I went to the community too, of course we enjoyed it. I was able to, or we were able, with my group, we visited the schools, we even went to farm with the chief, and one, Mr. Kaminta, I don't know whether you guys met. Kaminta.
Was that a sample man?
Yeah, he was the secretary to the traditional council. Sure. So when we met this man was also very industrious to us. He really supported our stay there. And then the problems to that we had is not different from what Peter is saying.
But let me even narrow it down. So your personal challenge, a challenge that really hit you during the PTP process.
Personally, I'm a community development student. So I did not really have a major challenge. You get it? But when, like Peter was saying, that they realized teenage pregnancy was a challenge. But do you think that those people who engage in premarital sex is because the father is not able to provide his or her needs? That's why somebody who engage in smoking the weed, or a lady who also try to get somebody to pay for some of her basic needs. But if I'm a farmer, like I was talking when they talked that, or when they said that their major challenge is the road, if you think deep, or we call something problem tree analysis, when you narrow it down, you begin to appreciate the reason why they have chosen the poor road network, and then you also get to know the consequences of it. Imagine yourself being a farmer, you plant cassava, and then after harvesting, you don't get this market for your produce. What happens? So if you have the money, you'll be able to cater for your girl child and then your boy child. You make sure that your ward goes to school, and then you make sure that you provide all her or his needs for the person.
So this means that one problem leads to the other.
Another.
So once they have a good road network,
Of course,
there will be
it's going to
economic
have
activities
trickle
going
down
on.
effects, and then
Okay.
the problem that you are talking about will be solving directly before you realize there will be no teenage pregnancy in the
Fantastic,
community.
fantastic. Let me come to you, Mr. Peter. Mr. Peter, so did you face any personal challenge, like a challenge that really, entered your body?
Okay, so I think the most basic problem we actually had was the aspect of this language barrier.
Okay.
Because I actually realized that
you didn't have Uncle Humble there.
we actually, so what happened was that, like I said, my community was dominated by the Gabes and Wala.
Okay.
It's actually a farming community. So I know they actually went and settled there.
Okay.
Farming. They actually started the community and all those things and all that. So what happened was that you realize that there are many there, but when you go to actually conduct research, most of them are not willing to even speak. They're actually into the tree. They're not into the speaking of the they're speaking Bono, something language like that.
Yeah.
They're speaking Bono. So when you go there to speak Bono, and then at the point where you are collecting data from the field, what happens is that it's not every time that you all move together as a group.
Yeah.
At one point, you only move in pairs, just 2 people at a time, so that you're able to go into every household to ask questions and gather information. So at that point, what happened was that if your partner was not somebody who understood Bono, you couldn't also speak the Bono, then there was that problem of what, the language, because they don't actually speak the English that much. Okay. And then most of them don't just speak the Garish, it's like you're also there, and then the language barrier is there. Another thing was the fact that in our community, for instance, having toilets at various homes was not common.
Okay.
And then at a certain point,
so you were doing free range.
It was free range. And when you analyze it, you realize that it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
They are a farming community, and then they are into cashew and mango plantations, large farms of mango and cashew. So what happens is that they expect that once you go to deposit the excreta out there, then it becomes fertilizer for the distance.
Yes. Natural fertilizer.
Yes. So I wasn't actually used to the idea of going out because snakes were actually common.
Okay.
It's a forest zone. It's like so snakes were actually common there. So the fear of even going for the free range and having in mind you may meet a snake, because our second night there, we met a snake on the road.
Wow.
We met a snake on the road. About 1 week ago, we met another snake.
Have you lived in the rural area before?
Yeah, I've lived in the rural area before.
But you weren't visited by snakes?
I wasn't visited by snakes. Because of the forest. Because of the forest nature.
Okay.
So my main thing was the toilet, and then the snakes. In fact, I fear snakes a lot. If I see snake here, I never.
I see.
Yes. So
Okay.
it was actually.
So that was one of your challenges.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Sophia, let's see from you.
One of my challenges was that there was a lot of insects in the community.
Insects.
Yeah, and they would just beat you anyhow.
Really?
And I actually had a lot of rashes on my skin. And
Have you
it
lived in a
wasn't
rural community
easy.
before?
Yes, I have, but this one was exceptional.
A deep one.
It was exceptional.
Yes, I think basically that is the purpose of the whole thing.
Yeah, and something did beat my leg. I didn't know what it was, so I had a swollen leg. And it actually lasted for a longer period. I couldn't even walk well.
Oh, sorry.
It was a great challenge to me.
Sorry.
But in all, it was a nice experience.
Wow, fantastic. That's fine. So, Uncle, you mentioned something. You said your community, it was like those who went there before impregnated 9 people. So didn't they use that particular thing to, treat you guys? Because some information got to me that some people go to a particular community, they had to chase them away because the other people who were there misconducted themselves, right? So didn't they use something like that?
Everything has to do with communication.
Okay.
You get it. So those who went to the Ajina, they faced that challenge, but I think with proper communication, they were able to eradicate that notion in the minds of the people that, like, if I've come and then Miss Sophie, Charlie, like, I check you out, I just want us to take a section. If she agrees, of course we are going to, because those who gave birth, they were not under 18 years.
Okay.
You get it? So, but what we were able to do to overcome this challenge was that we made them understood that this is the reason why we are here. Okay. They've sent us here to come and then live with you people in order to come up with a community profile so that we're able to know the challenges that you guys are facing. And one thing is that they may be living in the community without even knowing their problems.
Exactly.
You get it? So when you do the focus group discussion, like you said, okay, we have realized that this and this and this and this is something that is what working against the community. So what do you think we can do to probably curb that challenge? So when you draw the attention, You get it? Okay, so after making them aware that this is the reason why we've come here, then we are not going to repeat what our predecessors have done, they were able, or they accepted us very well. And then before I left the community, trust me, I had a lot of tubers like yam, chale, cassava.
So your initial imagination that, oh, you can get a girlfriend. Did you get a girlfriend?
Of course, yes.
You got a girlfriend?
Really?
I see. I see.
I had a very nice, of course, beautiful.
Wow.
Deborah.
Wow.
Wow.
So we have been sent to these communities to actually help solve problems.
You see, in Chile, we say that Ubi Yasin will be sure be dofo.
Okay.
At time when you go to the funeral, that's where you may meet your lover. You may meet your.
Okay.
So you met your lover.
So my case was that when we were going, when it comes to boys talking, like I can talk, you think this guy is very bad. So that was the image I created before my colleagues. So when they told that Hambo there, the guy is very bad. Hambo there, he's one of the he likes things and other stuff. And trust me, I completed senior high school before even proposing to.
So are you still in touch?
Yes, that's very important.
No, we are not.
Anyway. And I hope you didn't impregnate it.
No.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll go for a quick commercial break, and when we are back, we're going to dig more deep into the issue of PTP and how the field actually looks like, right? So stay connected. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is the Scholars Forum, and as I always say, this is where we bring you the right guests and we ask the relevant questions in order to get you well informed. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Yes, so I think the reason why my focus was on the challenges is that, you see, currently, I think the last group for this particular trimester's program, I think they left yesterday, right? Yeah, so one of the major challenges they faced was that, they will get into the community. The community members will tell them that we are not aware of you, so go back. We can't receive you. I think I received several calls regarding that issue. And when it happens like that, they don't even give them accommodation. They don't know where to go to. So this is one of the challenges I think that our coordinators should actually, look into, right? Yes, but as I said, if any of you has any other challenge you would feel that they should address, I think we can bring it in and then
so
we move forward.
To what you just said,
yeah.
You see, a father can't or should not just send the child to go and buy something or go somewhere without the father knowing where exactly the son is going. You get it? So with our coordinators or with the school, this is a very serious issue, and then we are speaking it without any fear.
Exactly.
Because we are students, and then we pay school fees, and then you are aware of the community that you are sending us.
Do you even bring out the community?
Of course, yes. You get it, and you even send us there. So what prevents them from doing the proper community entry?
Exactly. The issue is that if you will not get me accommodation in the community or anything, fine, it's part of the learning process. But alert the community members that we are bringing students here.
Course, yes.
It's really dangerous because some of the villages are very deep.
Yes.
And when you don't get the right entry process, you have problems.
Like my community, for instance, when we were going, our car developed a fault, and we have to get a trotro to the community. Imagine that when we went there, the people said they don't know us. The time that we go to the community, we go there around 6. See. And then that's very bad road. How do you even get means to get to the Chima?
So I think it's really a very serious issue, and they really need to. The next batch they'll be sending, I entreat that they really have to look into that issue. Well, so let's come back to our conversation, Mr. Peter. Yeah. Yes. What has been your best moment ever since you went to this field? What has been your best moment?
Okay, so I think aside the favors you get from the community members, like they giving you food stuff, or they being welcoming to you.
Okay.
One aspect I enjoyed actually was the part where we realized that in our community they had about 4 schools. Okay. And one of the schools, it was from primary to JH, they had only 1 teacher. Okay. Another school too, it was a headmaster plus 2 teachers, okay. Also from primary to JHS. And then one other school was also somehow better. Okay. So what happened was we realized that there were no teachers there. So when we went, we decided we'll go and be teaching. So because within a short while, you're done with your research, where it's like you've gathered information, your report is actually waiting, and then your proposal for the various faculties are also ready. Okay. So that means that within that particular period, you are actually having a lot of time to yourself. So instead of wasting it, instead of watching movies, we actually decided, fine, why don't you go out and let the teachers know that this is the help we can offer?
Okay.
So I think myself and one other student, we used to call him Kabobo, another guy Peter, Nadine, there's one other Peter, Nadine, and some other people. What we did was that we went to we went to the schools and they gave us classrooms to be teaching. So you realize that when you are teaching them, you develop that kind of let's say rapport or relationship with the students.
Fantastic.
But that one is it's very much interesting than even any other thing that's happening in Africa, because like you are having a direct impact on someone, and you are personally seeing the impact you are making.
So I think you guys really did very well, investing your time into helping the teachers to teach. I think that is very wonderful and remarkable. So thank you and your group for that wonderful job. Yes, so Miss Sophia, what has been your best moment?
My best moment is not far from what Peter just said.
Okay.
We're actually 11 members in the group, and out of these 11 members, I was the only person willing to help these 3 teachers to handle the students.
Why were the others not willing?
Well, I don't know, but they were just not willing.
Okay.
So I was the
They wanted to
only
watch their
person.
movies and have the entertainment.
So these moments actually gave me, it was exciting to me.
Okay.
The ability to impact was so exciting to me. So I think this
fantastic. I think it's similar to Peter's experience.
Similar to Peter's own, and the fact that I was teaching them, they were also excited. A lot of times they would fetch water for me day in, day out. They would bring me food stuff. Oh, my mother said I should bring you this. It was nice.
That's fine. And ever since you stayed there, hasn't any guy approached you as part of the whole thing? In as much as Mr. Humble, when they got a girlfriend, you could also get a guy from there.
My spec wasn't in the community.
The full community, your spec is in there. I see. I'll let the chief hear that. Anyway, Mr. Humble, let's hear your best moment.
So when I go to the community, like I was leading the 2 groups, so I became familiar with them, both the adult and then the youth.
Okay.
So when the youth meet, or let me take the adults for instance, they have a play that they play the blood damage.
Okay.
And then so at times I will go there and then we'll be interacting. So I was able to get most of our data from the people, and then the personal impact that I made was I was able to gather the youth at the center, and then I'll be speaking to them, especially the young ladies and then the young guys, making them aware of the brighter future ahead of them. And then if they stop smoking and then they stop impregnating themselves, they are going to have a brighter future. And then there's one guy called Elijah.
Okay.
He even came to this place, Moa Senior High School.
Okay.
He's even here.
Okay.
So I think probably it's one of the impacts that I can say I have for
point to.
Sure.
Fantastic.
We're able to talk to the people here, so they also understood the reason why probably we are talking to them, because just imagine you can kill. If not probably persistence and then consistency, you join your colleagues going to this downtown, doing this thing. Imagine your future would have what your future would have
very blurred.
You get it? So putting that one aside too, like I said, I was very popular. I was very, very popular.
Yes, you really chopped your name.
Sure, of course, yes. Yeah, and then as we were talking about the girlfriend issue, whatever, let me just chip in here. Of course, the lady was very beautiful, honestly, but she was authoritative, like. She doesn't want you to talk to anybody when she goes, and then you're on the line. Actually, why do you want to break my heart? I think
she really you made the lady to really fall in love. That's fantastic.
So
that's
making good name for ourselves.
Okay.
We're able to make sure they stop some of their bad or immoral acts, and of course it accepts some of the people that I can attest to.
All right, fantastic. So right now, I want us to look at something. You see, during the orientation, they will teach you certain things that when you go into the community, don't do this, do that, right? I want us to look outside that, right? You have been into the field before. So what are some of the things that when you go into the community, you should do and you shouldn't do? Based on experience, not the theory they teach us.
Sure.
Practically, what should you do and what shouldn't you do within the community?
Sure. So you see, when you go to the community, you have to use your common sense very well.
Okay.
Because mostly what they've taught you in the class, if you want to apply there, it may not work.
Okay.
Like I've met you guys. If I don't understand you, if I don't know the situation that you are in, if I'm not able to read your emotions, I wouldn't be able to communicate with you very well. You get it? So when you go to the community, like I said, the principles of the community development, that's where you have to make sure that you really understand it and you practice it. You have to make sure you have good relationship. It's very key. you can't relate, you can't take data from somebody, you can't communicate with that person without having a good relationship. And when you go to the field too, you see there are some of the students, genuinely there are some DBs among us, but genuinely too we are some those who fake to be DBs and other stuff. So when they go to the community, they impersonate like they have not been into community in the village before. So those things bores me at all, because why would you do that thing when you are not the DB? Why do you try to let us?
So they actually pretend to live a life that. By now, some of them are even from a village west than where they are.
Probably where you've gone to.
I see. I think that's a bad attitude.
So if you go and then you you create a certain imagination to where you are going to collect data, that I'm this kind of person, I'm not going to relate with you. When you go, we went to a CU community to do something. When we went there, the chief gave us a granite. I have to chew it or I have to eat it in front of him to let him know that it is not a poison that he has given to me. But there are some people when they go where they are seated, they don't even want to go mingle with them. What kind of attitude is that? You get it? So when you go to the community, you have to know that you have gone to human beings. Whatever that they are, whatever they do, that's the reason why they've sent you there. You do whatever that they will do with them. Wherever that they go, you go with them, and then whatever that they believe in, you also believe in them. After all, how long are you going to stay there? 6 weeks and then you are done.
So I think this is a very good advice. So when you get to the community, please bring yourself down to the level of the community members. Even if you are the minister's son or daughter, please, that period, that 1 month, at least try and become the farmer's daughter, right? Don't make it look like you are better than them. We want to solve their problem. That is why they sent you there. So don't go there and make it look like they have brought me here to show myself. It shouldn't be like that. So I think that is an attitude students need to really. And if we live this kind of life, at the end of the day, you develop problems with them. Because it will be like you are shifting yourself away from them. And they don't like it. Those people, they don't like it. Yes.
Not those people. Everybody doesn't like
it. Exactly. All right. So, Ms. Sophia, let me come back to you. So we are looking at, in the community, what should I do? What shouldn't I do? And I think Uncle Hambo mentioned you should develop a good attitude towards the people. So what other things you have to add?
You should understand them, accept them, and live with them.
Understand them, accept them, and live with them. Okay.
Whatever they like to do it. It's just for a short period. You're not going to be there forever. So understand them, live with them. Whatever they like doing, do it. If they are going to the farm, go with them. Yeah, because I remember there were sometimes we went to the farm.
It's a new experience. Even if you have not been to the farm before, this time I also tried one day. Nobody is saying go and weed 1 acre. Just go and observe. It's good that way, right? And I think that goes to back the saying that when you go to Rome, you do as the Romans do. Yeah. All right, that's okay. Mr. Peter. Yes. So, any other thing to add?
So one other thing is that you have to try to develop that kind of, like he said, that kind of communion with them. Like in that kind of community. I can remember our community, for instance, we had it's like every Friday we used to have a football match with the boys in the community. Just that we were scored 9 goals to go.
Well, you didn't send players.
We didn't have players. Imagine me playing ball. After not playing ball for about 10 years, I was in the field.
By the way, position were you playing?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know the positions in the field.
You were all over.
I was just running around. I was just running in the field.
Wow.
So they scored us 9-0. So we actually organized to always play ball with them. And then sometimes we used to go to their their football premier that period, soccer distance, to go and watch football with them. These Premier League and things. And then there was this issue where we used to go out in the night with them. In the night, you go and find them playing cards or maybe play driving.
So is it really advisable to go out in the night when you go to the community?
So you shouldn't just get there and start going out in the night. So because what happens is that after staying there for about 3 weeks, you might have made some friends. You might have noticed how the community works. In fact, if you are very keen and pay attention, you realize that these are some points I shouldn't pass now, because when you make friends with the kids, their mouths don't close. They will tell you, they see this road, I know this, but they even mention the person's name. That doing the person knows,
don't go there.
They'll actually give you the advice you need to keep yourself safe. Then you actually have the chance to.
And also adding to that, you see, whenever you go to a community, if you want to get sensitive information about the community, where you have to go is where they sell food. The chop bar,
food vendors,
and you go to a drinking spot, and then where they play this in the draft. You get it. So when I went to the community, that was exactly what I did. The first day that we entered, we went to fufu joint. And then once I was buying the fufu, I told them, mommy, so as we've come here now, you see, we came from Accra, so can we mingle with the people? Can we get girls here? How do we cope with them, and then what
And the girls matter is always your
Charlie,
priority.
it was it was, but just to make sure we get some relevant information from them, and then
exactly.
the answer was very, very positive. That's what, when I was living there, I was able, or I built a very good relationship with the people, and so now I communicate with them. I call the chief, I call one Auntie Charlotte. She sells fish, and then
wow, that's fantastic. So I think this is also another free advice. When you get into the community, please observe, pay keen attention to details, right? And then you make friends, try to mingle yourself with them. If not, you won't get the information you need, right? Yeah. Yes, so that's fantastic. All right, so Mr. Humble, let me just start this with you. What has this PTP thing made any impact in your educational career or your life as a whole, right? But let's focus more on the educational aspect, right? Yeah. Has it made any impact, or does it have any impact, or is it even reasonable, or is it good at all? Or is it advisable for us to continue doing it, for us to continue going it? What impact, personal impact, have you actually received from this?
PTP has done more good than harm to me personally, because, like I said, when I went there, I was able to build on my capacity, public speaking, making impact. Because as a human being, you have to make an impact in the life of the people. So if you live as a human being without making any impact, then what sort of human being are you? When we went to the community, we were able to make sure or bring certain issues into reality before them, like the challenges that we were talking about. With the problem tree analysis that I was talking about, when we met the people, we asked them what challenge or what was your relevant challenge that you think we should find solution to it, or if there's going to be any intervention we should respond to, and then they came out with the word I was talking about. When we were interacting with them, they were able to tell us this and this and that, so we got the causes and also the effect. So I have been able to appreciate that if I'm approaching anything in life, I have to get to understand what has led to the problem that probably I'm facing, or that individual is facing, and what will be the possible consequences to get it. So I've been able to live with the community people. So if you ask me to develop a proposal or come out with a development intervention for a rural community, I'll be able to know the kind of intervention that will go to them, and I'll be able to live with them to also get their current or present problems, so that we live and then we develop the development proposal with them.
So is it okay to conclude that you personally understand the challenges of these rural communities?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I really understand it.
Fantastic.
Because I'm studying community development, and every year we go to field to collect data.
Okay, and I think that has added to your knowledge. That's okay, fantastic. Mr. Peter, yes, so what impact has this PTP had in your educational career, your educational life?
Okay, so I think aside you getting the reality, you see, you study so many theories in the classroom or in the lecture hall. And they tell us central place theory, this and this and this theory, this and this and this. But when you go into the field, the theory will actually be in play, but you won't be seeing it, getting it. And the reality is far different from what is on the book, because first of all, before you can even do the work well, there's that need for the team to be united. Because when you go, reality is this: when you go within the first few days, the team will be united. Within the next few days, the team will start fighting, misunderstanding different views.
So have you had such experience?
Of course, because when we're there, we're fine, all right. Within a few days, we started fighting. We'll get back. They want us getting to conclude on the report. So whenever there was the need to make decisions, fights used to come up. So it's like, at the end of the day, what I actually realized was that teamwork is not an easy thing. And for teamwork to take place, some of you have to be fools. You just have to let down your guard and allow the other people to over-dominate before you can achieve that. So I think basically what I learned was the need for teamwork. Yes, and how to be able to nurture it and make it.
Yes, so of course, one very good lesson, teamwork, right? So you have to develop the spirit of teamwork. And then of course, if you go there, your team is not united, it will be difficult for you to work, right? So once you're able to become united, you will learn teamwork. And when you find yourself in another team, you may know what to do, how to go about things. All right, that's fine. Ms. Sophia, let's hear from you. Any impact at all?
What is life without impartation? If you are living and you realize that you are not impacting, you would have to live again. So this community thing actually gave me the opportunity to impact and teamwork, as he said, because 11 members in a group is something that you would have to tolerate. People have different views. Oh, let's do this way. Oh, no, I don't think it's that way. Let's do it this way. Like different different ideas,
Okay.
and you have to accept everybody's view and all that.
Yes.
And I've also learned that I have learned to be able to write recommendations, to be able to solve problems of communities. And I think that's a positive thing.
Fantastic. And I think that has been a unique feature of the
Very
UDS
unique.
Progribis
Very
system.
unique.
And that has made the students very unique from other students. Okay, that's fine. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, but you already mentioned that you didn't, get any crash over there, right? Okay, that would have been part of your the impact. All right. So I think basically the PTP is meant to, teach us some of these things so that when we go into the field, we can be able to work properly. For instance, if they post Mr. Humble to his community like this, when he gets there, it will be very easy for him to coexist with the people and then all that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go for a quick commercial break, and when we're back, we'll conclude on our discussion. So, stay connected. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is where we interact to inform, and then we inform to reform. And of course, I've always told you that we bring you the relevant guests, we ask relevant questions in order to get you well informed. Yes, so we are back. Yes, so I want us to look at something. There is this issue, very, very sensitive, but because it hasn't come out fully, most people hasn't yet realized that. But one thing I've observed is that most of our students, right, they are actually against the PTP. I haven't done any research, right? It's just based on what people tell me, right? Most of them feel that okay, it is because of this PTP that we are running a trimester system, right? So they are suggesting that they should take off the PTP and run a semester system. And the argument is that most of them take care of themselves, and so they need time, they need long VATs to be able to work and make money and then pay their school fees, right? So I think they have a point there. But then I want us to let's what's your take on it? This issue of let's remove PTP and run a semester system.
Sure. So, like we said, that if you go to the room, you do what?
You do as the Romans
You do as the
do.
Romans do.
Yeah.
You can't come to UDS or UBIS without running the trimester system. Besides, that's the only, or these are the two institutions in the country that run the trimester system. The rest, they are semester. So, in the first place, why did you come to UDS? If you don't want the trimester, you should have gone to either UNE, you should have gone to TEC, you should have gone to UMAT, you should have gone to Legon without coming to the UDS. And one thing that I've also personally observed is that when we hear our colleagues are enjoying the long back, we agitate, we try to be like them, whilst we can't be like them. So it's better the student take off that notion, or they take off that thing that we take care of us. Of course, yes, there are some people who really, really take care of themselves. But most of us, and I repeat, most of us depend on our parents. So just like we just want to get some time, and also because we don't do the industrial attachment to that one could be a factor. You go to the various organizations, you work with them, you get experience, so that after school, when you're going to do your national service, it shouldn't be like you have gone to a new environment.
Okay.
You have the prelims.
All right. So right now, do you think those who are arguing that they take care of themselves and so they need longer vacation period so that they can work and earn some money, do you think they have a point?
You have a point, but you don't have a point, in the sense that when you were buying the forms, you first knew the course that you were coming to do, and then you should have done your research about the school before you go. You can't come here and then tell the school to change the status, they change their mandate. You can't do that thing.
Okay.
So if you don't want that thing, go to K University.
All right, so I think the PTP is an integral part of the UDS system. All right. Mr. Peter.
Yes.
Yeah, so this has been an issue on the grounds, just that it hasn't popped up yet, but it is actually very serious on the grounds. Most students are, against the PTP. Most of them, right? So they want us to take it off. Do you think, what's your take on that?
Okay, so personally, I don't support the idea of taking it off.
Okay.
Because you realize that, like we've mentioned so many positive aspects of this thing. Apart, you make impact, you learn yourself, and then even prepare yourself for the future.
Okay.
Now, others in other schools wouldn't get that, and you have that. Now, taking the name of the school into consideration, so University for Development Studies, and then the school was actually done mainly to help target the less developed regions in the country, to help them develop. So how do you then, as a developer or as a development student, or somebody who's going to a school with the mandate of developing rural areas, contribute to their development without being on the field, without being among them to actually see their problems?
Okay.
So you realize that before we actually say they should take it away, we should look at the aspect of what impact it creates.
Okay.
Why was it put in place in the first place? Before you think about taking it away.
Okay.
Because when you talk about only your personal things like, okay, I pay my own fees, or stay in the community is difficult, I've never lived in the community and all those things.
Okay.
It's experience. Okay, if you pay your own fees, now you know that you're now in UDS, so you make adjustments so that by the third trimester, you might have gotten your fees for the following year.
Okay.
So you make adjustments towards the future so that you don't have the case where you come back from the field and it's almost time for role play, you don't have the money to pay for your school fees.
Okay, that's okay. Ms. Sophia, what's your take on this issue?
Oh, before you apply to be a UB student, you should have made research about what the school runs.
Okay.
Yes. So you can't come here and be like, we should take it off. If you are a DB, apply where DBs are.
Okay. So your issue is that if you're a DB, do research, apply where DBs go to. But for UDS, it's meant for hard
You
people.
have to run it.
All right. So I think someone also made an argument that, okay, so now they want some days off, why don't we bring the semester system? But then, instead of running the trimesters, we just bring the semester system. Then at the end of the second trimester, we fix the PTP there, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know whether that is also something that could be feasible, right?
You see, that one may not work in the sense that after exhausting the trimester and then bringing another trimester, you are the same person who are saying that you are catering for yourself. We are giving you 1 month, probably 3 weeks for you to go home and prepare for the PTP.
Okay.
Now you want us to fix it. How do you survive?
Okay. So it means that the second trimester is now going to be longer.
Yes.
Okay.
You get it? So it will not work. So I think the PTP or the TTFPP, as my brother Peter rightly said, that it's to make an impact.
Okay.
And one of the principles of development is that we develop with, we don't develop for.
Okay.
You get it? You have to do the top up approach to development.
Right.
Sorry, bottom up, not the top up.
Yeah, bottom up. Okay.
You don't have to sit somewhere and then tell me go and do this thing without probably understanding the situation that I am in. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know whether I've eaten or not. But Charlie, go and do this thing. Have you given me food? So when you come to me, you know, okay, Hambo is not feeling well. Let's get him this thing before he gets well. He get the energy for us to go and do the thing. You get it.
Okay.
So that's the reason why we go to the community. We go there, understand them, and we develop with them, but we don't develop for them.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so Mr. Peter, let me come back to you. Now, in case a student, right, in the field falls sick or is faced with a serious problem, right, let's just say sickness, for example, right, is there any emergency, kind of unit that is created by the PTP to handle them, or they have to still take care of themselves?
Okay, so I think that's one of the loopholes in the whole program.
Okay.
Because you realize that aside you catering for your own accommodation and then feeding and all those things while being there, the other things that you're also in charge of your own health, which I think the university system can look into that. Because I realize that.
So does it mean when you get to the community, whatever that has to do with you is in your own hands? The school doesn't have any hand in it.
The school doesn't actually. It's like they are actually partners, but are partners who do not contribute.
Okay.
They are only partners in listening.
Their contribution is to send you to the village.
Are you getting it?
Okay.
So I think what the school can do is that, because you realize that for some of these communities, they don't always have health centers.
Okay.
Or if they have health centers, they can develop a certain kind of disease or
because
sickness.
it's a new environment.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
Would need certain kind of equipment for you to get attention, but they wouldn't have them. So the school should try to see how they only make adjustments for it. Because we've had instances where people go to communities and then it's like, now it's not common, but in previous years, the instance people go to communities and they can meet their demise, they could die.
Shit.
Others would go there. I know somebody, he went to the community and they were all affected by some kind of skin distance. So some of them even left the community without assessment.
So I think these are some of the challenges.
It was so bad. They were affected. About 5 of them were affected. Some they couldn't even drink the water in the community because they had to always go and buy pure water and come and cook.
Really?
Yes, they only used to bath.
So now you see, you are saying that you cannot go to the community because the water is not, the quality of the water is not good.
Yeah.
But those who are dwelling or depend on that water are the animals.
They are human beings, of
They are
course.
human beings.
It
You see,
a new
sure,
environment.
if in a new environment, before your parents gave birth to you, did you know where you were going to?
Not at all.
No, you did not. And when you come to the university, does the school cater for your distance?
No.
Of course. The answer is a big no.
But I think the issue is that we're looking about accessibility, right? For the school like this, we have a health center, right? But in some of the villages, they don't. Now you've sent me there. I fall sick or I get some kind of disease that I need some attention. At least I am thinking that it's a recommendation. They could have established a particular unit that students can place calls to in times of what crisis like this, right? It's an experience, all right, right? But the sickness too can kill me.
You see, that one is right, but I'm not sure the coordinators are too inhuman that they will send us to a community where we will not get access to the distance, to the
Some
hospital.
communities are there like that.
So what about those living there? That's the reason why we are I'm coming. We are sending you there to understand the situation, because if you check, most of our leaders, they are either alumni of Legon, UCC, or K University.
Okay.
They sit there, they make laws, they make policies, and bring it down without understanding us. So when you go and live there, living there for 6 weeks, you can't. But they are living there. Give them water. You are there talking blah blah blah. You get it. So you have to go there. So even if had it been me alone, you should go and spend the whole year there, so that you appreciate it very well. When you know the political position, you really understand how the people
I understand your point.
So
I understand your point.
the basic issue here is that just make up your mind that you're going into the field
Sure.
and you're going to enjoy. Because preoccupied perceptions are very important in how you view situations and how you view situations regarding yourself. Because like if you're going in there already, it's like I feel like I'm going in there, I'm going to suffer. So I can't get help, access, I can't get there, I can't get there. It's a village, mosquitoes, those things. If when you go there, when the wind blows past, you think it's supposed to be like
That's okay. Our mindset.
So have your mindset that you're going to enjoy.
So I think what Mr. Hambo is saying is true to some point, okay? Because if we send you to the village and then we provide everything you need, then that means that the impact we want to create or the experience we want you to have, at the end of the day, you won't have it again, but you still have whatever you want. So they want us to actually go and face those challenges, experience it ourselves. But it doesn't also mean that. For instance, somebody gave me a testimony that when they went to around Konkomba land, there was a fight in the community. The night they got there was a fight in the land, and so they had to escape. So that night they slept on top of trees. You get it? So in an instance like this, at least they could have been somehow the school could intervene. Okay, so they place a call. Okay, so this is the situation. So they quickly send a car there, pick them there, because our lives are important. Sure. In as much as we want to learn, our lives are important. So these people who slept on trees, you don't know.
For such situations, then when they make the provisions for that, I think conflict. Nobody likes conflict.
Exactly.
So violent conflict is something that at all times we should try to avoid. So if you are speaking from that angle, I'm with you.
So
but
that is something someone has experienced.
Okay, I think how many people? Of course, it's a genuine concern. It's a genuine concern. But if you put your ears down and then hear what most of the students are saying, that we have gone to a community, we have gone to a village, there is no water, no light. Come on, I didn't know him.
Yes, I understand. At least if you go to, that is why we have sent you there. That is why we didn't send you to Accra or Kumasi or Sunyane. That is why we sent you to a rural area, right? All right, so Miss Sophia. Yes, so as we rightly said, some of these issues are really of serious concern, and students are saying we should scrape it off. Now they made certain arguments, and I think it makes a lot of sense. But then, personally, do you think that some of these challenges coming up, it calls for us to scrape TTFPP off?
Yeah, sometimes it's just mindset.
Okay.
The mindset of the students.
And sometimes they experience it themselves.
They already go there with a certain mindset that this like my brother said, and it's mosquito, easy. So because of this mindset that these people carry, when they go, they don't really want to do what they've been asked to go there for.
Okay.
And I'll side with my brother here. Well, the impact of the TTFPP must be felt.
Okay.
So the
But not to some
can't be
extent.
cropped
Not
out.
to the extent that you have to put your life down.
No, putting your life down like how?
Like sleeping on top of trees.
That one, like you said, it was a genuine issue.
You see, sleeping on top of the trees.
It's very uncommon too.
Sure.
Yeah.
You get it. And then if you study this thing, conflict, we have dimensions of conflict and stuff. You get it. There are some people who influences the conflict. Where do they live? Where do they come from? They are these top people, top class people. You get it. So if you send that person's charge to that community, next time you would not repeat those things again. So whatever. So the point that I'm trying to make is that whatever challenge that you are facing, that's the reality that you are going to face. So that when you get opportunity, you use it very well.
Excellent. I think that is a very important point. So whatever you are going through in the field, please take it easy and understand that this is the main reason why you were sent there. If your community doesn't have water, drink the one they are drinking. You won't die because they've also drank
I
it
have
and
drank
they're still
and I'm
alive.
sitting here. I didn't die.
So you wouldn't die. The food they eat Eat it, you won't die. Whatever they do it, you're not going to die. And of course, you appreciate the end result. Yes, so finally, let me start with you, Mr. Peter. Yes, so give us your final remarks. But then inside the final remarks, I want you to give some kind of, either advice, anything at all to those already in the field. Because you have experienced it. There are some people in the field now. So let's talk to them. Let's tell them something.
Okay, so generally, what I would like to talk about is the fact that you need a teamwork, which I mentioned earlier. Okay. You have to be united as a team to be able to do the work. Because once there's no unity, you can't even correlate your various activities to do the work. And then also, if you're a group leader, you have to be you have to be a team player.
Okay.
Don't carry all the work on yourself. You're not there to work for anyone. Everybody's there for the experience. Bring them together and work. And then the instance when you go into the community and you have issues of tribal conflicts or conflicts along any other line, say political lines or whatever lines, be very careful what you say.
Okay.
And be very careful what you do.
Okay.
Because realize that once you go into there, there are two different sects within the community having a kind of conflict. And you happen to be so much attached to one sect, you attract the anger of the other distant.
They add
to the conflict. And so if they don't add to the conflict directly, but once they see anything happening to you, they won't help you.
Okay.
Once you go to them for data, they won't mind you.
Okay.
Right? So you have to be very careful.
You have to play a neutral game.
Neutral game. Be neutral in a situation where there's division within the community.
Okay.
You're actually conducting your research.
All right.
It's very important.
All right, fantastic. So what are your last words?
So my last words are that for those on the field, I wish you all the best. I think it's a very nice experience actually, but it's a matter of how you want to take it. It's a matter of, like I said, your mindset. Make it in your mind that you're going to enjoy the community. And despite all the challenges, like Max Eman said, despite all the drudgery and the broken dreams, we are still in a very beautiful world. So despite everything not meeting your expectations, it's still a beautiful place. Try as much as you can to fit in and have a very nice experience.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Ms. Sophia.
So what I would say is that, my dear students, you are there to help them solve their problems. Don't go and add up. Yes, nobody is saying that you shouldn't go and get a girlfriend. Yes, go and explore. It's okay to explore. But please, don't go and impregnate them and add to the already existing problems that they are having. Please, if you must do it, play safe. Fashion your.
And I think that is one of the reasons why they provide condoms when you are going.
Yes.
Yes, it's part of it.
So
Do they provide it?
they don't provide.
They
You are supposed to send.
It's
They
part
don't
of the
provide
list.
officially, but it's part of the list.
It's part of the list.
Because
you
Yeah.
get it
my
for
committee, we
yourself.
all had 9 condoms. Even the girls had 9 condoms.
Girls who had
Yes.
condoms.
Well, one of the group members just gave us condoms, even 9 condoms. So
Wow.
just in case the girls also go into the phone.
Yeah.
So if you people had these 9 condoms, the 9 girls wouldn't have gotten pregnant.
I tell you,
You actually
exactly.
carry these condoms around with so many fantasies and you bring them down.
But don't you also think these condoms self could also, make you do
No,
something?
you see, when I went to the community, like before we went, my group people thought that the guy is the most humanizers. You get it? So they bought me condoms.
Anyway, that's okay. Miss Sophia, continue.
So please play it safe. And my last words. You are there to represent your beats. Represent your beats and represent us well. Please project the name of our school well. Behave well. Understand the people. Be excited about whatever you are doing. And have fun. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, Mr. Humble, yes, let's hear your final words.
Okay, so what I will say is that as you've gone to the community, know that you are a neutral person. Because there are some instances where we have 2 chiefs, or when you go to a community where there is a conflict and then you don't deploy the theories that they've taught you very well, you get yourself in the situation that you can't do anything. So when you go, try to make sure you build relationship, connections with the people. Like the places that I mentioned, you go to those places, you get to know the history and then the present happenings about the community. With that, it will help you in living in the community very well. And also with the team building, when I went, I felt I met similar challenge. That was when I made my intention to go for the SRC president. Okay. So during that time, the people will intentionally provoke you just to know who you are. You get it? And then, like I said, I'm a community development student. So when I went there, I have this experience and then these people will tell you that this wasn't how they taught us. They taught us to do this. You get it? So if you don't compromise, if you don't understand them, you will have fights throughout. So I encourage you people to know how to live among yourself, and also you don't have to promise them that the proposal that you are going to do, that's the community profiling, and the proposal that you are going to do, you are coming to do that intervention for them. No, you are only there to study. So when they ask you why are you taking this data, and you tell them we want to give you this thing, that's the reason why we've come. Those who will come after you are creating a problem for them.
They will attack them for not.
So I think those are some of the things that I will tell you. So just make sure you relate with them very well, and then don't go and add up to the already challenges.
I think most of these communities have the problem of teenage pregnancy. So when you go there, please don't add the number. Help them reduce it, right? Yeah, so thank you so much for having you guys here. I'm really excited for this particular session, and I hope that whatever we've discussed here, it will go a long way to inform a lot of guys, teach them a lot of things, and of course, I think from this interaction you can get a lot of lessons, right? When you go to the community, bring yourself down, right? After that, you try to do whatever they do, right? Don't try to behave like you're a DB or something. No, bring yourself down. You're in the village, you're not in a town. That's why they sent you there. And whatever you're going through, take it like it's part of the whole thing, right? It's part of the whole business. It's part of the reason why they've sent you there. So don't go there and be like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. No, those living there are also human beings. So let's consider all these things, right? Teamwork, build teamwork so that you can work very well. If you want to get relevant information, visit where they drink. We are not saying go and drink. Visit where they drink, visit where they play games, visit places that, and I think there's something I haven't even mentioned. It's like people who, let's say drunkards, sorry to use that word, drunkards, and some particular people in the community, when you get attached to them, you get certain information that you will never get. And I think this is a smart way of getting some particular information.
And that's one of the methods that we use. We have the snowball sampling technique of it. So when you go, okay, Peter, also, like, I've come to this community, like, what's up, how do you do things? So when you interact with the person, they will let you know if he's a smoker. In the first place, he would not try to reveal. But when you talk to him or interact with him, he will tell you, and then also tell you who also smokes. You get it, and then
you could even go a long way to even impact their lives and change them from that attitude. All right, so I think we brought our this particular session to an end, and I thank you so much for coming. The Scholars Forum wish you goodbye, and we pray that we continue to live very well. Inform people about this, and I think it's good that we've had people who have gone into the field before, right? And I think this is a very good experience, and it will go a long way, right? So we wish you very well in your other endeavors and all that. Yes, so keep following the Scholars Forum for good stuff like this. We will always come your way with the best. The Scholars Forum will inform to reform. Thank you. Goodbye.